The time of year we've all been waiting for is upon us. It is spooky season, it is Halloween season, it is Samhain season, and I love to celebrate. I love to celebrate seasons and festivals and all of the goodness available to us. And I've got tons of Samhain celebration ideas for you today.
We know that you were born magical. We know that you are intuitive, and we know that you are brimming with everyday enchantment. Here at the Sisters Enchanted, we believe in intention, we believe in intuition, and we believe in everyday magic. Welcome in to the Expedition to Soul podcast.
All right, y'all, we are going to go through like Samhain celebration ideas. But firstly, what is Samhain? Samhain, it's spelled, just so you know, if you're not familiar, it's spelled like Samhain, Samhain, but it's pronounced Samhain. It is a Celtic celebration, similar to like the Day of the Dead. It is a time to celebrate ancestors. There is a lot of uh, information, I guess, historically about how some of the Halloween traditions we follow now came to be. There are some, there's a tradition of an old tradition of using turnips and carving them to ward off spirits and ghosts on Halloween night. Again, November 1st being this Day of the Dead. And this is something we can see across cultures in some Norse mythology. That we can actually see crossovers into Yule, the shortest day of the year, where if lights weren't left on and sort of protections put in place, that Odin might ride through on his chariot and take anybody mistaken for a soul who was left outside or who's out wandering, as Odin came through to grab souls. So we see this idea of honoring sort of what's come to pass, the people who've come before us throughout this time. So really from Samhain to Yule, the winter solstice, on around December 21st. So it happens anywhere from the 19th to like the 23rd, 24th every year. The actual date of the shortest day of the year does change, but around December 21st. So this is a reminder that these festivals that we celebrate on a specific day, they highlight seasonal energies though. And across cultures, they highlight seasonal stories and seasonal experiences. So while there's a lot of hubbub about Halloween and Samhain, and I love me some Halloween, so all, for good reason. But remember, it is a season, and the stories that we tell, the energies we lean into, they are variable across culture, kind of where they come from. There's the idea that we dress up to scare away any like ghosts or spirits that might need to be scared away. There's also this idea that we want to welcome in the spirits of our ancestors and those who are here to support us and be there for us and remember them. So the stories go all different ways here this time of year. But no matter what, it is the witchiest time of the year where we can don our witch hats and put on our witchiest outfits, head out into the world, and no one will second guess you or think twice about you, unlike any other day of the week where you might get some odd looks walking into the grocery store with your witch hat on. So I want to give you some ideas for celebrating Samhain here today. We have a whole list of these ideas in our fall 2023 Stay Magic magazine. It's free, it's digital, so you just grab your copy and you can read it right on your favorite device, and you don't need to like go buying a print one or anything like that. So you've got it available to you. We'll be sure to link it up. And also remember that we do have some free witch gifts that we're giving out right now, and we'll put the link to that for you as well, so you can grab up the gifts that we are giving away to celebrate spooky season and this whole month of October. We're releasing new goodies for you each week, so we'll link that up so that you can get those as well. All right, so some Samhain celebration ideas for you. I forgot to mention, this is the third of the harvest festivals. So this is where we really, everything's been harvested. This is the last of it. And this is why we connect with our ancestors at this time too. If we're thinking in an agricultural community of the past before all our modern technology, with this last harvest, we would really be, connecting with our ancestors and like praying for a safe winter to come, to make sure that our harvest was abundant enough to support us through the cold months when we wouldn't be harvesting anything. So this is part of that time of year. And again, it's the last of the 3 harvest festivals. Some people do refer to this as the Witch's New Year. In a Wiccan tradition, this is often looked at as the Witch's New Year. I myself look at Yule, so the shortest day of the year, as the new year, like the natural new year, because every day after that, the days will get longer again. Some people will also look at the Scorpio new moon as the witch's new year, because that is with the Scorpio new moon and Scorpio season. This is that transformative energy. So the tales of Scorpio, there are many, but it's tales of transformation. And one of the symbols of Scorpio is that of the phoenix. So what rises from the ashes. And with the Scorpio new moon, we've burned away what no longer is going to carry with us into the next year. And then it rises from the ashes. What's interesting is in September, we see Jewish in the Jewish faith, we see holidays celebrating this idea of what are you leaving behind and what are you carrying forward, right? There is I believe it's a Catholic saint. I might be mistaken. Saint Michael, Saint Michael. I hear it pronounced Saint George. Sometimes I hear this as, and that happens in September, Michaelmas, which is sort of the story of fighting a dragon, but the dragons are a metaphor for your own inner things that you are slaying and leaving behind to step into your light. So from the autumn equinox, like right around there, that's the second harvest festival, through the Scorpio new moon, this idea of like harvesting, shedding away, and what are we carrying forward is happening all autumn season long. And it's this preparation to help us really lean into intention, lean into our new goals come the new year. So something to think about how we see these trends across all cultures, religions, belief systems. But today we're talking Samhain. All right, let's get into these celebration ideas. So the first thing is to create an ancestor altar. Super easy. And you might actually have something that's kind of like this without even realizing that you've done it. I know my grandmother, well, a few years back, sort of raised her eyes at the word altar at me. She's a very Christian woman. And I looked at this table that she had in her like sitting room, and it's all photos of ancestors and family members. And she had like a little angel statue in there and like some other little mementos. And I'm like, that is an ancestor altar. So an ancestor altar can be photos of people who've come before you. If you don't know your ancestors or you don't feel like tied to them, you can look at the people who just in general who've come before you. So people who inspire you, sort of creating your own ancestral energy there, the connections that made you who you are. But creating an ancestor altar is a beautiful thing to do with the Samhain energy. And as we're honoring those who've come before us, having a bonfire and a little ritual, again, to honor transformation, what you're shedding away. You can write a note or a letter about what you want to release, put it in the bonfire, and burn it to the ethers, to the universe, to make space for what it is that you want to call into being. Halloween is known as one of those liminal times. It is actually the midpoint between the autumn equinox and the shortest day of the year. So it happens right in the middle of those two times. And these spaces in our lineup of the sun, I guess, and planet and whatnot, are liminal spaces. So they are reminders that we're always crossing into something else. So practicing divination, getting out your tarot cards, runes, flexing your psychic skills, all beautiful practices for Halloween. Of course, pumpkin carving Now, you might think of pumpkin carving and just like making them fun, or there's of course those traditions of carving turnips to ward off evil spirits. And while I personally don't believe in evil spirits, I think that you can carve pumpkins though as calls to whatever you want to call to. So of course have fun with it, but you can carve sigils into your pumpkins. You can, try to like even paint or draw using your pumpkin as sort of a vision casting tool for what you want to bring into your life and create that on your pumpkin. So pumpkin carving, it can be, the traditional like carving a jack-o'-lantern, but it can also be a creative expression of what you want to bring into your life, and then place that out front of your home or by a doorway to welcome it into your life. All right. Leaving a plate, an empty plate, or a plate of food, you can put food on it if you want to, for your ancestors at dinner, or leaving some of their favorite treats on your ancestor altar. That's another beautiful practice for this time of year. Having dinner by candlelight with all of, in the dark with your ancestor place settings to honor your loved ones and sort of bask in their memory and call them in for support and just acknowledge with gratitude everything that you have in your life because of what they did before you, what you learned from them, lessons learned, paths they paved for you to walk on. Of course, meditation, journaling, always great practices for these types of festivals and these seasonal points in the wheel of the year. If you're a person who loves ghost stories and loves spirit communication, this is one of those days. Again, it's one of those liminal times. It's one of those cross festivals. And spirit communication is something that a lot of folks will just sort of enjoy at the, how many times am I going to say, this podcast? I've probably done it 10 times already. I'm sorry. Beautiful. I need some new words up in here. Maybe some more coffee, some water, a walk, clear my head. I don't know what. Spirit communication, though, back to that. This is something that gets a bad rap from people. Like, you are going to invite in evil spirits into your house. Again, I don't believe in evil spirits. I think that I've had varied experiences in this realm, which is actually part of a podcast series we have coming up that starts in next week. So you'll want to tune into that. I think that if you have been practicing this skill, either through your own mediumship or psychic abilities or using a pendulum or tarot cards or whatever it is that you're using as your medium, it's a great time to give this a try. I think the generalized vibe of Halloween and Samhain really lends itself to feeling more confident and in the energy of this type of activity. If that's not your jam, don't worry about it. Just skip on by. Drying herbs that you've gathered. Again, this is the last harvest festival. So any herbs that you have hanging around still in your yard or your pots or containers or that you have gathered on wild foraging, great time to dry those out. If you didn't plant your bulbs for the spring at Mabon or before, like last call to do that as well. So lots of ways for you to celebrate Samhain. Of course, just having a festival, a feast, gathering with loved ones, honoring what's come to pass. Always an easy and lovely way to celebrate this season and the time of Samhain as we really, start to bunker down for, I just said, again, as we really start to bunker down for those cold months ahead. This year's Halloween day is coming right off of a full moon. So it'll be a few days after that full moon. It'll still look pretty full in the sky. And with that full moon energy, that's a releasing type of energy. And after the full moon, we have the waning gibbous moon, which is a time of practicing gratitude. So it's a real call to practice gratitude for your ancestors, for lessons you've learned, for the abundance and harvest of the season, and sort of just enjoy. Because with a waning gibbous moon, that's also a sort of relaxed phase where we're leaning into the energy and letting the full moon do its job of clearing away, casting away, and creating space. So we release, we do shadow work at the full moon. And at this point, a few days out from the full moon is really where we're practicing gratitude for the experiences that we've had. And so if you have a fire for Samhain, go ahead and just release anything that's not serving you with this last of the harvest season and make space to dream as we finish out the fall season and get ready for the shortest day of the year in December. All right, y'all, grab your copy of Stay Magic. So you have all of these ideas and more, plus some stories on Persephone, who is a goddess of this time of year, and how we can really lean into this power of being dual in our nature. So both dark and light, shadow and light at all times. And be sure to check out the free witch gifts we've been giving away this month, the month of October. We'll have all that linked up for you below. And starting our next episode will be a 3-part series special for spooky season on ancestors, past lives, and ghosts. So I'm excited to dive into that topic. It's going to be a little bit of my journey in those areas, what I believe to be true, what I've learned over the years, and I'm pretty psyched to share it with you. All right. Thank you for listening in. And until next time, I hope that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead.
If you liked this episode of the Expedition to Soul podcast, please rate, review, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, it will really help us spread everyday magic, intention, and intuition to the masses and helps us so much as a small business. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. If there's any topics you'd want to hear, anything you want us to dive deeper into, shoot us an email at magic@thesistersenchanted.com. And as always, thank you so much for listening and being part of the community here at the Sisters Enchanted. And we'll see you in the next episode.